Well, hello. It is February, which is one of my most exciting months for ValenTangles because every single year I look forward to doing ValenTangle, and here it is, February. But I was thinking about, we're going to create all these beautiful tiles, all this beautiful artwork. And what often happens to me is I have my tiles, this beautiful collection that I've just created. Perhaps I've done a project pack, one of the ValenTangle project packs or something like that. And then I have this beautiful set of tiles and I'm like, what do I want to do with it? And I only have so much wall space to frame things, and my tiles wind up in boxes or sort of floating around the house. So this time what I decided to do before I start going with any of my tiles, I want to create a little book that I can keep my tiles in. And what I'm going to start with is something that's called a blizzard book. And this is just going to be like the inside. Here's a sort of mock-up version of what I would like to make. This one has 12 pages, and in each one you can tuck in your tile. Now these little pockets are designed for your typical 3.5 inch square ValenTangle tile. But just for fun, for ValenTangle, I threw in some little hexagon tiles as well, with this length being that 3.5 inch. So we're going to create one of these little blizzard books today, and on another day we'll create a slipcase that this book can go inside. But I thought it would be sort of fun to have a place to put my tiles as we go through this ValenTangle journey. So what I have here is some decorative paper. I've got a bone folder, I've got some double-sided tape. My decorative paper measures 8 3/8 of an inch tall, and then all together I want it to measure 43.5 inches long. Now I bought this decorative paper in one sheet that was 20 by 30 inches. So I cut out 2 pieces, and you'll notice that one's slightly larger than the other. This one's 23 inches long. This one's 21 inches long. And I'm going to tape them together using double-sided tape. And that overlap will be 1/2 inch. So all told, by the time I'm done taping, we will have the rectangle measuring 43.5 inches. Now, if you're using like craft paper that's on a roll, clearly you can just cut the rectangle that's 43.5 inches long, 8 5/8 inches tall, and you're all set to go. But if you're using a sheet of paper like I am, you're going to have to go ahead and do this taping. Now, I did make the mistake of initially making these the same length, and that meant that the tape was right in the middle of the rectangle, and I will also be folding right in the middle, and folding on that double-sided tape when there was also 2 layers of paper was very difficult. So I offset this overlapping area so that it won't land directly on one of my folds that goes straight up and down. There might be one fold that it has to go through, but I hoped to put it in a place where there are fewer folds and we won't see the overlap as much in the final product. So I'm going to go ahead and get to taping this, and then we'll start folding. All right, voila. You can see a little bit of a difference in the pattern where it's taped there, but kind of worked out pretty nicely. Hopefully we don't have to notice it so much. So to get our 12 pages, we are going to fold this into an accordion. To get to the number 12, we first have to fold this in thirds. And 1/3 of we've had to do so much math here in this project. 1/3 of 43.5 inches is 14.5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and get my ruler. Now I tend to use this clear one here. Just measure 14.5. It's funny because I'm not a quilter, but I do find this clear ruler to be very helpful. Okay, so here's my line. I'm actually going to fold this onto the other side and then fold it over. Yep, there I see the line, the little dash marks. I have my bone folder here. Now this paper is very interesting because these beautiful designs seem to be made out of wax that has been poured onto the paper. And so it makes this really interesting sort of transparent effect, but it does mean I have to deal with the texture of the wax. So here I have that 1/3 folded. Going to go ahead to the other side and fold. Okay, so now I've got my 2 folds and they're both going down. So these would be considered valley folds. And I want to flip them over. So now they'd be considered mountain folds. All right, so to get started, so I have 3 sections, 3 lovely large pages. I'm going to take this first mountain fold right here and line it up with the edge of my paper. And the more precise you can be, the more lovely your book will turn out in the end. That being said, just like with ValenTangles, give yourself some grace, do the best you can. Now I'm going to flip this so I can see. Yep, there that is. Let me get my bone folder. There we go. I don't know, but it's just so satisfying using the bone folder. Oh, that wax, it kind of sticks together. That's so interesting. All right, so now I'm going to do the same thing. Here's my mountain fold again, and now I'm going to line it up right here. So to show you, here's the edge of the paper. Here's that first mountain fold that we flipped over. Now I'm going to take the second mountain fold, line it up right here to the best of my ability. Again, giving yourself some grace, because now we are still dealing with that part of the paper that has some tape on it. I'm going to flip that over so we can see. Oh. And then we have our final edge that I'm going to just fold over. And voila, ugh, that wax. Oh, that one's a little crooked. Let me try that one more time. A little bit better. You know, with all of these times, I'm always like, how picky do I want to be? I do want it to be lovely in the end, but also I want to have an enjoyable experience. So now we've got our 6 pages, but we want 12. So take your paper. You might not be able to see it. And what you want is to lay it so that you can see 3 mountain folds. And I'm going to take the first mountain fold, and just like we did before, line it up with the edge of your page and give it a nice press. I'm going to flip it over just so I can see what I just folded. Yep, looking good over there. Great. So now I have 2 pages here. I do think that's what it has to be. Let's try it out and we'll see. We'll see what happens. If nothing else, we'll unfold it. The world will not come to an end. Okay, I think that's the hardest part for me, getting those first 4 pages. Because I had to, this fold that used to be a valley fold had to become a mountain fold. And I was confused as to whether or not I should do that. I'm thinking I should. Let's continue on. With this section, I think we're back to starting with bringing this mountain fold all the way over to the edge. We're going to essentially just repeat what we did for that first section. I always feel like making these books, gosh, is just such an exercise in mathematics and, you know, how crisp and clean can you make everything. And there's such beauty, I think, in allowing yourself to make mistakes, try it out. Yes, you want to take your time and make it lovely and beautiful, but also let yourself have some fun. Oh, that wax, so squeaky. Let's check it on the back. Looking good. All right, another mountain fold. Let's bring it right on over. Oh. It's like it's a shock every time. Okay. Okay, and last fold. I like that this paper looks similar on both sides. With the little mock-up I showed you, it had pattern only on one side, which is nice because you can see, you can sort of play with, you know, do you want the pattern on the outside or on the inside? It doesn't look bad at all. But I kind of like that this has just a uniform pattern. So now we have our 12 pages. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Good. Looks good to me. All right. So now's the fun part. So what we need is in the center here, we want it to be able to measure 3.5 inches and just a little bit more so that we can accommodate a tile right here in the center. That means we're going to have to take our paper and fold some triangles, leaving that gap right there in the middle that is the same size as a ValenTangle tile. Nope. the wax doesn't want to fold. Let me just sort of boss it around and let it know. Nope, I'm in charge. Okay, all right. We got this. So there we go. We're going to be doing that for each of the pages. Now this is the first page. And so there's only just a single page here. But let's see what happens when we get to our next page. This one right here. Now I'm sort of eyeing it with this ValenTangle tile, but I know in the past I've just measured it just to make sure that it's more exact so that these line up just so. Maybe I will regret this in the end and wish I had gone ahead and measured with my ruler, but we'll see. All right, so this time when I have my folds, it's a double fold, right? There's two sides of this. So I can open up my folds, and if I open up my 2 pages, I have 2 folds right here. I can turn those folds inside out and tuck this triangle inside. I'm doing the same thing here. Turn those folds inside out. This is such a satisfying thing. And tuck them inside. So now they're tucked in and my page is the same shape as that original page. Now I'm going to go ahead and do that for each of these pages as well. So now we have a book that has some, pretty interesting shapes, but we're not to our pockets yet. So to create the pockets, right here, we're going to create a line right here. We're going to fold this down. And it's already pretty easy to fold because there's already a fold right there. And that creates one side of our pocket. Let's go a little straighter over here. And then here's the other side. And they overlap, which is nice. Let's test it. It's a little snug. Okay. So I'm going to see if I can fold this one a little slightly less than it wants to go. It's sort of like this one lines up really well right here. My paper's being stubborn because of that wax that's on there, as it has been this whole time. Oh, nice. I wonder if the wax is actually helpful because it's sort of, I guess it'll keep these from falling out, huh? Anyway, so there's our first 2 pages, their little pockets. All right. And I'll keep on doing for each. All right. Yeah, those folds are a little crooked. I can see it. But I don't know how fussed I am, if I'm honest. Now, my question is, do I want to tape this down? The other thing is here, these guys are sort of sticking out. Like that one's just hanging there. I was thinking about just taping those guys down. Yeah, ooh, that one's a little small. So I'm thinking, yeah, I might refold that just a little bit. Because over here, it fits just fine. So yep, okay, let's correct that a little bit then. And you can see that one. I'm gonna open it up just a little bit. Let's see if that helps. Maybe, maybe not. Let's find out. Okay, better. So you can sort of wiggle it about and get it just the way you want. Yeah, that one's tucked nicely. I do think I'm going to tape these guys down. And you know what? I'm just going to test out taping this down and see how I feel about it. So I will just put one little rectangle of double-sided tape right here on this corner. And tape that one down. Do the same in this corner. And I'll do that for both the front and back. So this was the sort of first page. Let's go to the back one. Let's test that one. Oh yeah, it fits just fine. Okay, let's go ahead and tape these collars down. That's what it looks like to me anyways. Okay, and so I'm going to put some tape right across this edge. And just secure it down. Yeah, I kind of like that. I'm going to do that for each one. All right, so this is our little blizzard book. And I'm going to put my ValenTangle tiles from ValenTangle into this book. And then I'm going to make a slip cover that this whole thing is going to fit inside, because right now there is no cover for it. There's multiple ways to cover this. I am choosing a slip cover. We'll see how it goes. But let's see, let's put some tiles in there. So on the first day of ValenTangle, sounds like I'm saying on the first day of Christmas. Anyways, on the first day, I'm going to work on this hexagonal tile. Just tuck that right in there. Yeah, that looks so cute. I am satisfied. So I'm going to put let's put my ValenTangle tiles in there. Now I know that there are folks who produce, the gal who produces ValenTangle actually produces these hexagon tiles called relaxagons. I created my own, and I don't know if they're the same size as what she creates. It's obviously a bit smaller in surface area than our regular tiles, but I also thought it would be nice that on certain days I wouldn't have as much surface area to have to cover. So for my ValenTangle, I am sort of alternating and thinking about what's the surface of my tile. I have obviously white, tan, some gray, and one black hexagon. Yeah, these fit in just right. I'm so excited. So I will say, you know, ValenTangle sort of lasts 10 days. It's really just 10 prompts. But I really am going to take my time with them. I'm going to let it spread out and be the whole of February so that it can be a project that I feel really good and excited about. Oh, I love how this turned out. This is so much fun. So I hope you enjoyed making a blizzard book with me. And if you stay tuned, you'll be able to see me finish up and draw on each one of these tiles for ValenTangle 2024. And you'll also be able to see me create a slipcover for this blizzard book. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you again some other time. Bye-bye.